I just thought I'd start the video with a quote from a book that from Tana French, and The Trespasser, obviously from a book, because this has been my favorite Tana French novel to date. Really enjoying it. I obviously caught some sun today too. It might be just the light, very light, but I obviously caught some sun as well. Yeah, I've been away for 2.5 weeks, but I've been out inside. Sorry. I've been extremely busy with work, and then whenever there was any sun and I had any free time, I was outside. But I was reading outside, so I have got quite a bit read. So yeah, the quote. So this one from Antoinette Conway. She is the second female detective that Tana French has written about in her Murder Squad novels. This is the 6th novel. It's probably the final one. So here we go. So this is Antoinette's thoughts on romantic and relationships and friendships. So what you need is basic cop on to figure that out. In the face of all the media bullshit screaming that you're nothing on your own and you're a dangerous freak if you disagree. The truth is, if you don't exist without someone else, you don't exist at all. And that doesn't just go for romance. I love my ma, my friends. I love the bones of them. If any of them wanted me to donate a kidney or crack a few heads, I'd do it. No questions asked. But if they all waved goodbye and walked out of my life tomorrow, I'd still be the same person I am today. So I just like that one. Hi, how are you, BookTube? My name is Maria and welcome to my channel, MH Books. So yeah, as I said, I was away for a couple and a half weeks, extremely busy in work. Our CEO has changed and we're getting a new CEO tomorrow. And I just have some deadlines for the lovely revenue commissioners and things which still need to be made. Audited accounts to get out. Horrendous things. But what you got to do is take a little time for yourself. This book is Olga Tokarczuk is the writer, and Joanna Concejo, I can't believe, is the illustrator. It's The Lost Soul, and it's a lovely little book to remind you just to take some time for yourself. A man has lost his soul because he's rushing about in modern life. And it is absolutely, it's not actually, I bought it because it was to Olga Tokarczuk's work, but it's actually an illustrated, and it's actually more illustrations than anything else. So it is a very simple, beautiful read, and there's even some places where they look through a window and there's a little piece of plastic over the actual page. It's absolutely gorgeous illustrations in it. So that's the man and that's his soul. So if you have half an hour, you know, if you just want to spend relaxing, I definitely recommend The Lost Soul. I got it quite cheaply, but you might want to get this one as a library book or something, you know. But it's a nice, quite half hour to yourself. The next one I finished is Mermaid of Black Conch by Monique Roffey. This is well loved by booktubers. It's won the Costa, so loads of people have read it. A lovely book to read if you're in the Northern Hemisphere and you experience summer at the moment. Set in Black Conch, which is not a real location in Tobago, but could be in the Caribbean, and it is basically a retelling of the classic mermaid story. We have David the fisherman who falls in love with Ikea, if I remember her name correctly. We have a few other interesting characters on the island, and commentaries on love and all the rest of it. Obviously, the relationship between Ikea and David, because it's the classic mermaid story, is doomed because all mermaids who come back on land end up in the sea. But it's written in the vernacular. It's actually an amazing experience. Can't do it justice by just saying it's a mermaid story. So if you haven't read it, you should just definitely try it. The next one is The Last Resort by Jan Carson. It is set in a caravan park in Northern Ireland. I came across this book because of the Read Women Challenge that's on Instagram and Twitter a couple of months ago. Read Irish Women Challenge. And a lot of people were talking about this at the time. I do have another Jan Carson I haven't read, which I'm going to have to read. This is considered by some to be 10 short stories about the caravan park in Northern Ireland, and others, including me, as a novel told in 10 chapters by 10 different characters' point of views. It is a whole bunch of misfits because it is February in Northern Ireland when takes place. And if you had any money, you wouldn't be in a caravan park in that miserable weather. And everybody's story of all these misfits, including the person that owns them, is all connected by a young girl, I think she's about 15, 16, who died 35 years beforehand in a car bomb. In the car, or just in the car park of the caravan park. So, and that's all I can tell you because it's a very short book. I did that. I am so harsh on my books. If you like interconnected short stories or those kind of chapters, like 10 different characters telling to realize how they were all connected at the end, you like this. It has a little bit of magical realism and a teeny tiny bit of supernatural elements in it as well. Tiny bit. Not scary. It was a novel set in Japan, I think, by Leonard. So it's the phone box at the edge of the world. It's based on real events, and that there really is this phone box that's hooked up to nothing in Japan where you can phone and talk to the dead. Not supernaturally talk to the dead. It's like going to a grave to talk to a dead. It's just an opportunity because you can hear the wind over the line to talk to people, and it's good for people who are bereaved. So it's based on that story. It's very sweet. It has, I'm going to have to put the names up because I can't remember how to pronounce them. So it's Joy meets Takeshi, a bereaved husband. So Yoi's family have died in the tsunami in Japan, and Takeshi is a bereaved husband. And they both meet when they go to this phone box. It's deliberately difficult to find because the journey to find it is part of the experience. And this is based on a real phone box. So yeah, I think Imai Messina is actually, she lives in Japan, but I think she's Dutch or something. Can't remember. And this might actually even be, was this translated even? I can't remember. Yes, translated, she's Italian. So it's translated from the Italian by Lucy Rand. So actually it's written originally in Italian. But the author lives in Japan, and she was just fascinated with this story. It's lovely, and it's a little bit predictable as to the ending. But beyond that, it is a sweet story. It's a nice one to read over the summer. And the next one I had to read because I follow Rónán Hession on Twitter. I don't know why. I mean, there's no reason not to follow him. I just don't know how I started. This book was the one Dublin one book. So it's all throughout Dublin during March, I think it was. If we had nowhere else to go, we'd seen nothing but the sign saying read this book. So I suppose I had to read this book. This was his debut. He has another one out at the moment as well. Leonard and Hungry Paul is about two friends who are 30-somethings, and it's a coming of age when you're 30-something. They're both introverts. Leonard writes encyclopedias, and Hungry Paul is the occasional postman, so, you know, stems in when he's needed. Doesn't seem much motivated. Both friends love to play board games together. Hungry Paul is particularly into playing board games. And it's about their friendship. It's a coming of age. It's funny in parts. And it's actually was a 5-star read. Really enjoyed it as a read. And Leonard fancies the girl who's the fire warden in work, and this disrupts the friendship between him and Hungry Paul as he tries to pursue this girl as an introvert. And Hungry Paul is almost, everybody's worried about him because he has no ambition. He seems to lack motivation, and yet as you read further, you realize he's the smartest person in the book. He has everything in the world, all alike, completely sussed. Could be a Buddha. So yeah, I would really recommend this one too. Aha! So The House in Vesper Sands. This one I didn't like as much as I thought I should for the story. It's kind of very good. It's a Maria kind of story. We're set in Victorian London. We have 2 main characters. There may be more by the end, and maybe not everybody makes it to the end. Other than that, I'm not saying. But there will be a few of them left at the end. But the 2 ones that were introduced, that's actually in the blurb of the book, so it's okay to talk about, is Gideon Bliss, who is the nephew of a vicar who arrives to London to find his uncle is missing, even though he came there at his uncle's request. So he has nowhere to sleep that night, and this is one of my problems with this novel. It relies too much on coincidence. He arrives in London, nowhere to sleep. Doesn't have any money left, so he sleeps in a church. Sensible idea. Happens to see the love of his life in the church, who is also in the same church, which is a very odd coincidence. And she goes mysteriously missing. Okay, this is all near the beginning, so it's not spoiler territory. It was a little bit contrived, I think, as the beginning. There's other parts that are contrived, but you know, we're getting way into the plot by then. The other problem I have is with the other character, Octavia. Octavia is a society journalist, and she would like to write some serious stuff for the papers. But it's Victorian England, and she's a woman, so she faces the problems you'd expect. Problems, yeah, you would expect. She works with who she is, and she forces herself into gentlemen's clubs and into other situations. Sunshine didn't think she should because he's a boy, and it's wrong for women to do that. Men need some time to themselves. But so she has this strong, forceful personality. But at one stage, she has this kind of flip out mental breakdown that she'd expect more from a girly girl. So didn't really gel with her character in that sense. However, Pariac has set up some interesting characters in this. Not everybody's going to make it to the end, but most will. And who doesn't is not for me to say. And so there's another 2 characters that will appear in this thing. So it looks to me like it's going to be an interesting series, that it's the beginning of a series, or at least that's probably Pariac's intention. So I'll definitely pick up the next one. I just hope it's a little bit plotted out a little bit better. Passing by Nella Larsen is a book that appeared in Jen Campbell's one of her vlogs, I think. She probably include it in a wrap-up as well, but I just specifically remember seeing it in the vlog. So I actually picked it up in books upstairs when I was seeing it there because I remembered it. Then Anna Moe, who I'm doing a buddy read with of Sula, Toni Morrison's Sula at the moment, said she'd read this and she thought maybe it's a good book to go with Sula. So I picked it up and read it. It's very short. It's just a novella. This one is about two friends. One is, both look white now. One is passing for white and has married a white man who doesn't know that she's actually African American. And the other one, or a Negro, because this is written in the 1920s, so it actually would have been Negro at the time. And the other one is married to a black man and does not approve of this passing business. But nevertheless, they are friends, and it's about the friendship and the ultimate conclusion as to who is the person who's correct of the way that they should live their lives. Remember, it is 1920. There is not a lot of options for black women at the time, so so that's what it's basically about. I thought the ending of this, I thought this was like a 4-star read until I got to the ending, because it's a good book. When you get to the ending, you kind of go, that's where it was going all the time. Holy moly. And so it was. That's the ultimate conclusion to this book. I thought it was a fabulous ending. And it's a short book, so if you don't like the ending too, sorry, but I thought it was a perfect ending. We'll finish up with two cozy mysteries. One so good the budgies could eat it. Yeah. So naughty. So Hamish with Beth, Death of a Traveling Man. It's about the 9th of the series, I think. I'm so cross with them for eating it. Oh, they really do. They really go for it. Like much worse books, but they really go for it when they do it. This one is I actually quite like this one. It was a little bit This is books set in the Scottish Highlands. They're okay. They're fun to read. It's Hamish with Beth. He's a Highland policeman. I do like that he was a little bit, usually knows things and we don't know it. In this case, we followed all the way through the mystery. There was a traveling man who is a new age traveler, who's obviously up to no good and gets himself murdered. The person in the beginning always gets himself murdered. It's a formula. You're told in the beginning who's going to die. You spend about 5 or 6 chapters trying to work out how they're going to die, and then they die, and then you work out who kills them. I did enjoy it. And a happy ending in the end for poor Hamish, who had a sad ending in the previous book. And the other one I read was Julie Wassmer's The Whitstable Pearl Mystery. This is another one, like Vesper Sands, it relied a little bit too much on coincidence, but the coincidence wasn't the biggest problem. Let's face it, Charles Dickens relies on coincidence. Coincidence is a normal thing to put in for an author to use. Just think, for a murder mystery, she had too convoluted a murder. And yeah, sorry if I just gonna spoil it, because obviously it's not obvious from the beginning. There's just 2 mysterious deaths, whether they were murder even in the first place, but they have to be. There's no point to these others. What I did like about this was Julie's descriptions about Whitstable and the seaside town. The sense of place in this book was amazing. At all times, you knew you're in a seaside town. She obviously really, really loves the location. This is a series book. I have another 3 or 4 of them. So I'm definitely looking forward to continuing on. I like her character. Her character's name is Pearl, and she has a little bit of an will they, don't, won't they relationship with the local policeman. She has moved to Whitstable originally with her son as a single mother. Her son is now grown up. She has empty nest syndrome. She's quite young. She's about 38 or something like that. She had the child as a teenager, and she's now ready to solve mysteries, because they're not clues, they're ingredients to a mystery. They are fun, so I will be reading on again. I just thought a little bit too much on coincidence for me, because other books. The next one I'm reading is The Farkeep's Daughter by Angelina, Boulley. It is about Danny, who's from the Budgie tribe. I just pronounced that wrong, considering I'm also listening to this on audiobook. That's disgraceful. And Danny has been approached by the FBI to go undercover. She's 19. She's going undercover, she's nearly 19, and to find who's making meth. The meth is particular in that it has some mushroom shoes to it, which were probably from the GB tribes history or culture. It's being blamed on their community at the moment. Danny is similar to actually Angelina. She's based it sort of very loosely on an event that happened in her own life. Her dad is a firekeeper from the GB tribe, and her mother is American, a white American, but originally Italian, I think. I think it's Italian. They speak a little bit of Italian at home or something, in one of their languages. So, it's YA. It has a little bit of the instant love between these two. It's a beautiful cover, by the way. I love that it's a butterfly and it's the faces. It's beautiful. The background though is of the culture references are amazing, because they're Angelina's own ways, and the conflicts that she has being from both worlds at the same time. And growing up is very well reflected, because obviously it's based on her life, and I am very much enjoying that aspect of it. I'm reading at the moment because there's 9. This one isn't even included in the 9. We Are Not Ourselves. So that's Alan from, just have the channel open here, Big Hard Books and Classics. It came in from the library on Friday. I just haven't said yet, so I will tell you. Just a reminder to me. Nella, which I'm reading with Anna Mo, and I think this is going to be my favourite book of the year, lads. I think this is going to be my favourite book of the year. It's full circle. I'm going to finish the Tana French Garda Squad series with The Trespasser. I'm not sure this is marked. Oh yeah, I meant to mark it. I must lose my page. God damn it. I'm about 45% through. And obviously I'm really enjoying Antoinette from this book. Okay. So this is going to be so long by the time I put it together. So I'm not even going to be able to watch BookTube because I'm going to be using all my broadband for uploads. So I hope whatever you're reading, that you're enjoying it, that you're not torturing Sunshine. Poor boy. And until next time, bye.